Hello, this is Dr. Alemi with a brief discussion of ontological adjustment for rare conditions. The purpose of ontological adjustments is to allow parameters for rare conditions to be replaced with the parameters for broader related concepts. For example, if meningitis salmonella is rare, but salmonella in general with all different types is not, so for a person with meningitis salmonella, we can just ignore it because it's so rare, or we can just use the feature that's available, which is the person has some type of salmonella and score that feature of the patient. Let's take a look at some data using the International Classification of Disease, which is commonly available in electronic health records. We usually have a code like 003.20, which is for Salmonella with localized infection. These are the disease types, that lower codes. Salmonella meningitis is 003.21, and so on. Other types of Salmonella is 03.29. Every different type has a distinct code. When we drop the last digit in these codes, we get to the broader concept of Salmonella. So here we have the code 003.2, which stands for Salmonella. When we continue to drop, and now we have the code 003, we get to zoonotic and bacterial diseases, a disease category that includes Salmonella, but also includes other diseases. When we further drop, we get to body systems, in this situation, intestinal infectious diseases. As we drop, the sample size grows. So here we are showing the sample size for Salmonella with localized infection was 3, very rare. Salmonella meningitis, there was only one of them in our data. Salmonella with arthritis, 4 of them. Salmonella with osteomyelitis, 3 of them. And other type of Salmonella, 87. None of these are that common. Let's say we consider more than 100 common. So all of these are under the 100 threshold. So we move to the disease and we get every one of these subtypes included in Salmonella, which gives us now 98 observations. Still rare. But if we move to zootonic and bacterial diseases, we now have 404 observations. As we move up in the ontology, we get to a larger and larger samples. If we go all the way to the body system, intestinal infectious diseases, we now have 20,853. For rare conditions, we can recalculate the likelihood ratio for the larger concept until sample size is greater than a threshold. That's the basic idea of ontological adjustment. How do we make these things in your database? Well, we use a command called stuff. Here we see select stuff, and in single quotes I003.24, comma 7, comma 1, and comma 2 single quotes. What does it mean? It means replace in the string I003.24, starting at position 7, one digit with nothing. So there you see the result is I003.2. You can adjust this kind of stuff commands to continuously drop and look at shorter and shorter codes. How do we recalculate likelihood ratios? We redo the contingency tables. So here we have the 5 contingency tables for the disease subtypes, and we want to get to the disease Salmonella, which is 003.2. The steps are we calculate the shorter codes. We then left merge every one of the shorter codes that we have calculated into a single file. We group by the shorter code, and we sum the fields so that we can now calculate the sum of A's, sum of B's, sum of C's, and sum of D's. And once we get this contingency table, you all know how to calculate likelihood ratios from it. So ontological adjustments improve estimated likelihood ratios for rare conditions. They do so by increasing sample size and reducing variance.